My name's Tim Williams. I come from QinetiQ in the United Kingdom. We are a science, research and engineering company, around about 6,000 strong personnel. We've been developing a product called Bracer, which is an end-to-end secure iridium satellite device, and we're working in conjunction with BodyTrack, who do physiological monitoring or biometrics from the individual. So working together to be able to provide that biometric data from the field global beyond line of sight. So the first part of the innovation is the Bracer device. This device comes out at the end of May. We looked at the Iridium push-to-talk system, a very powerful system where a user can set up coverage anywhere in the world within seconds. It has a latency of about 500 milliseconds and extremely powerful. When QinetiQ looked at it, we looked at it from through a defense perspective and looked at what we could do to enhance the capability to make it viable for defense use globally. So the Bracer device, 450 grams, the first part that we did was looked at the encryption. The PTT device has AES-256 provisioned twice on the system. What QinetiQ have done has tunneled through that, because the Iridium provided encryption is system encrypted and Iridium own the key. So we've provided an end-to-end tunnel, which is FIPS 140-2 level 3, so a very high level of commercial encryption that tunnels through the center, and the customer controls that key. The second part that we've done is uprated the environmental protection, so you've got IP66 and IP67, so it's jet washable and submersible to 1 meter for 30 minutes, making it viable for the maritime environment. Then we've enabled the ports at the bottom to be able to work with all ancillaries, universal, so it becomes a mission type radio where the customer plugs in their own ancillaries, and then the system works with those ancillaries, not getting into the multi-billion-dollar industry and very fickle industry of different audio ancillaries. And then the third, and probably one of the most powerful elements, is the PLI that comes on the push-to-talk side of the service. That's 500 milliseconds again, from anywhere to everywhere in the planet. You can set up coverage on the North Pole, South Pole, one in Australia, one in the US, and you're at 500 milliseconds. That is controlled by the coverage is controlled by the user. So you do that through your own web portal, and you set up that coverage. You don't have to take the handsets to a computer to reprogram them. It's done over the air. So you could be traveling from one point to another. As soon as you get to the airhead in that particular point, you can then utilize it. We've also made the system commercially as a commercial looking device. So passing through the customs, it's not type 1 encrypted. So it allows you that early entry without having to go through a diplomatically bagged process. Where we then bring in the biometric aspect is with the headset, which I'll go on to the moment. But the data that's taken from that is translated within the Bracer system and then overlaid onto the mapping system on the tablet. A tablet can be attached to any Bracer system within the network. So you're now putting the picture, the common operating picture, into the tactical environment, operational and strategic environment as well. And that's compatible with COT and ATAC. So moving on now to the BodyTrack element. It measures the following parameters: the core body temperature, heart rate variable, VO2 and motion. So they're the parameters. But the more intelligent aspect of that is done through the proprietary software, and that's the data and data analytics, which then leads the user to be able to understand if personnel are experiencing heat stress, fatigue. It can understand the level of consciousness. It utilizes motion, so it's also for somebody driving a vehicle. It would tell if that driver was starting to get tired and start to and lose consciousness, and also man down. And that links back into the Bracer situation, into the Bracer system of where you've got biometrics in your ear, taking the readings, passing through Bracer, and then being translated into the system. And then any variation in an individual's metrics would then trigger an alarm, and then send that alarm to a commander. The commander then could then engage with that particular individual to make sure that they're okay. Now, in a harsh, arduous training environment, that could have life-saving potential, as well as in an operational environment as well. The earpiece has a two-way audio associated with it as well. So you can use it as an audio earpiece that works within the system. And it's not just it's not just unique to what we're doing with Bracer. The system has an earpiece here, connects into its own capability, battery and processing, and can work across Bluetooth, Wi-Fi or another transmission method. And the system has a battery life of 12 hours. When you compare this against other methods of doing measurements, the body track capability versus an ingested pill, the measurements are about 88% correct from utilising a non-invasive approach by using the earpiece. And then when you look at the body track heart rate measurements versus a ECG, they're 98–99% of accuracy. So very accurate system without the invasive process of having to digest pills. So from a summary perspective, we see this as a way of enriching situational awareness and having a proactive intervention to saving lives and maintaining the physiology of the individual, which leads to life-saving properties. It's viable for training and it's viable for the operational environment. But most of all, it's simple and effective way of approach. The Bracer system takes about 2 or 3 minutes to learn as a system, and the body track is a plug and play as far as the individual on the ground is concerned, and then the proprietary software that's where the body track element comes in is easy to use as well.